So should labor leaders be living large off their members' expenses? Joining me now is James Shirk from the Heritage Foundation. We also have David Callahan from Demos. David, I'm going to go to you first because this is a sort of tough one to get in there and defend. I can see using money from the unions to buy properties to maybe make a return on it. But to go to the Ritz-Carlton to fly on the jet when you have firemen and teachers paying into the union who are, sacrificing going to Applebee's on Friday so that they could do things with their family. That's the part that I think would be hardest to swallow.
Well, this is way overblown. I mean, if you look at how these union leaders actually behave and what they're paid, it's very modest, even compared to the nonprofit sector. The president of the AFL-CIO makes $300,000 a year.
That's a lot of money to a lot of people.
Compared to, say, the president of the Museum of Modern Art, who makes almost $3 million, compared to a lot of university presidents who make over $1 million. Kids on Wall Street make $300,000 a year. I mean, this is not...
But they're not profiting off the dues of people who are making so much less. They're not making that money from people who are, making salaries that are a tenth of that or a sixth of that.
If you all are interested in excess in the nonprofit sector, take a look at some of those televangelists who are living large.
I'm sure they're wrong, too.
Trinity Broadcasting
Let's bring
Network,
James in. I'm sure you're right about that. James, what do you think?
I think this explains why polls show that 2/3 of union members think their union officers are in it for themselves and not looking out for the union members. I mean, look at this. Asks me, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees spending over $200,000 of its members' dues to send the union officials, but not the members, to a conference at a resort at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. How in the world does that benefit the rank-and-file members? They couldn't find anywhere less expensive to meet?
David, what about that? How would you respond to that?
Planet Hollywood is hardly the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, come on.
No, but I think a lot of union members couldn't afford to go and stay there, and that's the point.
By the way, I've also been at that Westin Hotel down there in Fort Lauderdale. This is not the Ritz-Carlton. Rooms start at $189 a month. This is not excess. I mean, again, when you look at how people are compensated in the nonprofit sector, how executives are compensated, where they go on their conferences, what kind of retreats they have, unions are quite modest in comparison.
I don't think, James, I don't think comparing them to other nonprofits is going to get the job done, because I think the real problem is when you compare them to the people who are scraping to pay the dues to be in the union, and then maybe they look at the benefits they're getting right now in places where, they're losing a lot of ground. It's going to occur to more and more union members that perhaps it's not worth being part of the union anymore. Isn't that the bigger problem?
Well, I think the bigger problem is that in most states, if you're not in a right-to-work state, those union dues aren't voluntary. If you don't pay the dues, you get fired. And then as far as the union transparency goes, actually the current administration has rolled back a lot of the financial disclosure requirements that the unions would have had to file to, say, report on how they spend trust fund activities, or unions in the public sector, the government unions, how they spend their members' dues. And so you've got a situation where the workers are forced to pay the dues, and then the government is saying that, no, actually, you rank-and-file members, you don't even get to see how your dues are being spent.
So, David, does information like this make you concerned that maybe we're going to see more places like Wisconsin, we'll see more union members say, I don't want to, I want to be in a right-to-work state. I don't want to have to be a part of the union. Well, it's not good for the movement, is my bottom line.
Look, I think workers want to be in unions because they make more money when they're in unions. But look, the bottom line here is that unions are democratic organizations. You hear all the time, hey, if you don't like CEO compensation, the shareholders can vote them out. Well, if union members don't like what their executives are doing, whether they're going to Planet Hollywood, they can vote them out. These are democratic organizations.
Okay, we'll end on that note. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for joining us. We appreciate your time.